Well, why is that so small? Hold on. There we go. Is that better? Can you see the screen fairly clearly? All right, well, let's go ahead. So, how many of you have ever worked at a store before? Perfect. I worked at a store as well. I can well remember like working at the department store and like doing all the work until your feet got hurt and everything until your feet started getting sore. So let's say if you were working at a store and you forgot to count up how many things got sold. Would that be? Hold on. Would that be good or would that be bad? Yeah, it would be. It would definitely be bad. Right. Okay. Well, so, but let's just say that the security guard saved the day. And the security guard counted a total of 36 purchases that got taken out of the store. But they didn't look inside the bag, so they didn't know what was inside the bag, though. So there were 36 total things sold, and there were some computers, and there were some hard drives. So there are some computers and some hard drives, and I'm just going to call the computers C, and I'm going to call the hard drives H. And the only other thing you knew was you counted up the money that was in the cash drawers, and it was a lot of money. It was $27,710. Look how big that number is. You wish that you had that much money? That'd be nice. Okay, then the computers, it said sold for $1,180 per unit. So you looked up the price tag of the computers, and it was $1,180 each. You looked up the price tag of the hard drives, and it was $125 per unit. So that's pretty fantastic. Now, based on that, we have to figure out how many were sold. So let's take the two pieces of information. First, let's just think about the quantity. So the quantity of computers plus the quantity of hard drives is a total of 36. That's the easy one. Because counting things up is easy if you don't have to think about how much money you have to pay for them. Now let's do the hard one, which is the money part. So we'll have to pay $1,180 for each computer, plus we have to pay $125 for each hard drive. By the way, how many of you have had intermediate algebra with me? I'm not sure if this might even be a review question from then, but it's always good to overlap a little bit. So the total amount of money that you got in the cash drawer was $27,710. Perfect. Now, one thing I love to teach in algebra is that you should always do things the easiest way possible. I truly feel like some math teachers just like want to make it as hard as possible. But anytime you see something that can become 10 times easier or 5 times easier, you should always do that. Because in fact, that's the purpose of your brain, is to do things the easy way. Except the only thing you can't do is you can't take your phone and just point and like a math app at the problem and have it tell you the answer though. But you probably could already know the answer, but then you wouldn't learn anything. The value of college is what you learn, not what you're told. So you notice that this ends with a 0, which means you can divide it by 10. This ends with a 5, so you can divide it by 5, and this can be divided by 10. So which is bigger, 10 or 5? 10. So 10 is not a common factor because you can't divide the middle one by 10. So 5 is the biggest number that's actually in common. So let me change it to blue so that you can see the difference. I'm going to make the whole problem 5 times easier by dividing by 5. Do you see that technique? So I'm going to get my calculator on my phone. I could probably do it on my head, but actually, let me do it on my head. I don't want to. Actually, you should use your calculators, but then you can tell me. If I divide 1180 by 5, I should get 236. Is that right? 236C. Okay, just want to make sure. If I divide 125 divided by 5, I should get 25. And then the big one. If I divide 27,710 divided by 5, I should get 5,542, but I don't know. I'm kind of like really stretching my brain on that one. What, 27710 divided by 5,542. Okay. I don't even remember. I can't even remember if that's what it said or not, but 5,542. By the way, I was trying to use a trick. Actually, I wasn't really doing it in my head. But if you divide by 5, that's actually the same as if you divide by 10 and then multiply by 2. So in my head, I was dividing by 10 and getting rid of the 0. Then I was just multiplying 2771 times 2. But even that was so hard to do that I still struggled with it. So I'm thankful for calculators at least. Now, the other equation above it actually is too easy. If something's too easy, it won't be useful anymore, right? Like what if you need like something big to like a big huge drill to like drill screws into your house or something, and you just have like a little easy screwdriver. The top equation is too easy right now. We need the top equation to eliminate the bottom equation somehow. So which is the smallest number in the bottom equation? It's the 25 in front of the h. So if I can use the top equation to become negative 25 in front of the h, it would get rid of the positive 25 that's with the other h. So let's do that. So let's take the top equation, multiply by negative 25, and now the top equation is going to be negative 25c, negative 25h equals, wow, okay, hold on. 5 times 6 is 30. That's going to be negative 900, I think. Like that. Okay, perfect. So you can double check me with the calculator though, but what I actually did is I know 36 is 6 times 6 and 25 is 5 times 5. So I did 6 times 5, which is 30. And then I took the other 6 and 5, which is another 30, and I just did 30 times 30, and that's how I got 900. So let's add those together. The easy part is the negative 25h will cancel out the 25h. So let me do a quick cell phone check real quick. Make sure nobody is distracted. Perfect. Okay, good job. Nice work. So if I add these up, I'll get 211c equals, wow, I feel wimpy. I can't even subtract. My grandparents would be so ashamed of me, but 5542 minus 900 should be 4642. Is that right? I think, hopefully. Okay, perfect. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. What about the negative 25 plus 236? Is that right? What?
Where'd you get the negative 25?
Oh, so this top equation right here was too small to help us. So I needed to multiply the h by negative 25 so that it could become negative 25h to cancel out the positive 25h. Like that. Yeah, so once I simplify the big equation, then I use a small equation to eliminate the big equation. Yes.
Negative 900.
The negative 900 that's the 36 times negative 25, but I could be wrong though. Double check me on that. So 36 times negative 25 should be negative 900. Yes.
Why did you put the negative one on top instead of one like on the bottom?
The negative what?
The negative equation.
Oh, because it was just above the other one at first. So I put this one below because it was at the bottom at first, and then I just put this equation above it because it's like above it at first. I was just keeping them together as a pair, kind of like you could put it below. Like it would not be wrong to put it below at all.
So it wouldn't, it'd come up the same.
Yeah, it'd still come up the same. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so the question is, what is 4642? Hopefully that's right. Does anybody else see any mistakes? Because I definitely do have the possibility of making mistakes. Let me divide that. I get 22. So remember when Taylor Swift was 22 and she said something about feeling 22? Is that right? So this is officially the Taylor Swift problem. Now, if you sold 22 computers, how many hard drives would you sell?
14.
14, right? So the hard drive, because there's 36 total, so 36 total minus 22 equals 14. So the hard drives would equal 14. So the moral of the story is don't lose track of how many things you sold, because then you'll have to do math to figure it out. So we actually only had time to do one question today, but it was a very worthwhile question. You've now like reawakened your brains to math again. So it's really nice to meet you all. And next time during class, I'm going to try to like learn a little bit about everybody and so forth. So thanks for being such great students. I hope that we keep having basically perfect attendance and that we have the most fun together this whole semester. Thank you very much.